Hey guys, welcome to Code Decode. In this video, we are going to look into some Java 8 streams possible operations, all possible operations available. In many of the videos, we might have seen that these are the scenario-based Java 8 coding interview questions. We have seen that how will you solve these questions. But there is no one place where we can see that all these operations are available out for you in the market. You can use them to solve your problems. Now, Java 8 questions are usually the step-by-step solving questions. If you don't know all the possible operations, how will you apply them to solve those tricky step-by-step questions? So this is the place where we are going to see all possible operations which we can use and implement to solve our Java 8 coding interview questions. So in Java 8 coding interviews, there can be tricky questions that we might not be able to solve if we don't know all the operations. So today we will see all such operations unless we don't have the understanding of their usage and implications. How will we solve those coding interview questions? So these are below Java 8 coding interview questions, operations we can use. Going forward, in this video, what we are going to cover is some intermediate operations, terminal operations and the collectors. Most of the questions are around these concepts only. If you can go out in the market and see what Java 8 coding interview questions usually are solved using maximum of these many operators, you can see. These are the diagrams which are generated by AI for us. So these are the usual operations which you can use and solve your coding interview questions for Java 8. So let's get started and see each of them one by one, where we have filter, we have map, we have flat map, we have distinct, we have sorted, we have peak, we have limit and so on. So let's not just go one by one like this. Let's go with each and every of these operations, see how we can use them in our real time. So let's get started with a very simple one, which is filter. So filter is the one who is going to filter out only those elements which satisfies the given condition. So the result of this filter is going to be either the same number of elements you have in the stream or the lesser number of them, because few of them will be eliminated when we filter them based on some Boolean condition or predicate. So as we all know that Java 8 streams always works with collections. So if we have some collection like list with numbers, if you want to filter out all those elements whose value is greater than 5 and then collect them at the end to the list. So this filter is an intermediate operation. If you can see here, this is an intermediate operation filter. So this is going to collect all those numbers who are greater than 5. So 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10 will be the output in the result. So use filter whenever you have to fetch those which solves the particular predicate or the given condition. For example, in the real time in an e-commerce website, I have asked you to filter out all those orders which came after 8 p.m. on 22nd of August. So there you can add the filter where date and time greater than today's date 8 p.m. Hey guys, recently we have launched a course covering an end-to-end full-stack application using Angular as front-end and microservices and Spring Boot as the back-end. Also, we have used Cloud to deploy this application, and we have used CI/CD, that is Jenkins and Argo CD, for continuous integration and continuous deployment. The technologies that we have used is REST, RESTful Web Services, Spring Boot and microservices for back-end, Angular for front-end. GitHub we have used for version control system. Also, to make the code unit testable, we have used JUnits. We have used Sonar for code quality checks. Also, for containerization, we have used Docker and Kubernetes. And to deploy this whole application, we have used AWS and multiple services from AWS. Also, we have used SQL as well as NoSQL, that is MongoDB and SQL. On AWS, since for the SQL we have RDS, we have used those services, and Jenkins and Argo CD for CI/CD pipeline. Also, this is an architecture of the application that we have created where the front end is Angular and the back end is microservices. We have used ALB load balancers, Ingress for routing and load balancing. And we have used SQL and MongoDB for SQL and NoSQL DB management with Eureka Server and all those microservices counterparts. Now, this is the CI/CD pipeline. This is the CI/CD flowchart for the application that we have created on local. So this is something a flow when you create an application in local, push it to GitHub, create a Jenkins pipeline, and do the CI/CD using Jenkins and Argo CD. And at the end, deploy the whole code at AWS EKS. Complete description of this course is covered in a very separate video. The link for that video is also given in the description bar below, and also the link to purchase that course from Udemy is also in the description bar below. So please go and check the description for all these links. The second operation, again an intermediate one, is a map. So we have seen that filter is going to return you either the same number of list of items you have or the lesser of them. But map is not going to reduce any number of items in your list. It is just going to transform each and every element which is present in the stream into some another object. And again create a stream out of it, and then you are allowed to put any terminal operator and collect it to any of your choice. So here, for example, I have a list of strings with the fruits like apple, banana and cherry. I want to map each and every to its uppercase. Then this is how you can map each and every to the uppercase and at the end collect them to the list. If you have apple 2 times, you don't want to collect it as the apple, banana, cherry. You just want apple, banana and cherry. You want to remove the duplicate ones. You can also collect it using the set. So this is the use of map, which is an intermediate operator, which can convert each and every element to some another element using some operations, and that operation you can pass in the argument of map. Now in the real time, if I am getting the list of orders in an e-commerce website, but for my operation I just need the order IDs. I don't need what items are there in your orders, how many quantity of each item is there. I don't want that much complication. I just want the number of the order, that is the order ID. That's the only thing I need. Then what you can do is you can fetch the list of orders, map each of this order into its order.order ID. And then when you collect to the list, so your input becomes the whole list of order, but your output will be only the order IDs list. So this is how you can map it when and whenever required. The third one, again an intermediate operator, is a flat map. So what flat map will do is, if you have list of string, you can flatten them to the single list of string. Too much of theory, let's understand it code wise. If you can see, this is list of string. So I have arrays.asList. This will give me the list. Again in the internal, I have 2 arguments, that is arrays.asList and arrays.asList. So what will be the result of this? It will be list of string 1, 2, 3 and 4. I want that this list of strings, the 2 list of strings, that is with 1, 2 and 3, 4 should be flattened to 1, 2, 3 and 4 like this. How can we do that? So this can be done by flat map. Too much of theory and don't understand why I want to concat 1, 2, 3 and 4 to one simple list. I cannot relate it to real world. So how can I relate it now? So some real world example, suppose I have an e-commerce website. Okay, I have multiple orders coming to my website. Now all those orders will have multiple list of items. So for example, I am Amazon. Today I have orders, 5 orders received as an Amazon. I have total 5 orders received. In each order I have 10 items. So total of how many items I have? 5 orders with 10 items become 50 items. Now at the end, when I'm sitting as an Amazon at my desk, I want to see how many items did I sold today. So it should be 50 items. So each item will have some name and some extra parameters. So as an order service, I want to see as a store that how many items I sold. But I have the list of orders. Those orders have list of items. So if you can see, I have list of orders. Orders have list of items. So this is list of list. List of orders having list of items. So list of list. So now I have to flat map and convert each order to its item and stream it up and then collect as a list. So this is where I'm going to flatten my list of items from the list of orders. So each an order which is coming individually in the stream one by one is converted to its odd items list. So at the end what I get is the item list. So this flat map is used to transform each order into its item objects. This operation flattens the nested structure of converting a stream of list of item into just the stream of items. So that's the use of flat map, where you have list of something, you can convert it to list of something. So at the end, when I'm sitting at my desk, I can see how many actual items I have sold in the whole day. Next, coming to distinct. So distinct is the way you can remove the duplicate items. There are two ways to do it. Suppose I have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Use the distinct and collect it to list. So output will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I can stream them and collect to set. And then I can also have 1, 2, 3, 4, but the order will not be the same because we are using the simple set or the hash set. So just to make sure that our order is also preserved and we don't have to use set, you can use the distinct one. And distinct, what does it do? It removes the duplicate elements from your stream. That is also a intermediate operator. Next is sorted. So sorted is the one which we can use to sort our elements in the stream. Either it can be in the reverse order or in the natural sorting order. So if you just do the names.stream.sorted and collect to list, it will be Alice, Bob, Jane and Joan. But since we want to have it in the reverse order, we can use a comparator here in the reverse order, which can be passed as an argument to this sorted intermediate operation. And now your output will be John, Jane, Bob and Alice in the opposite direction. So that is how you can use the sorted to sort your stream either in the natural sorting order, that is alphabetical order for the strings, or in the reverse order. If you want to do that, you have to pass the comparator object in the argument for the sorted intermediate operation. The next is peek. Peek is usually used for debugging purpose. So the peek method is primarily used for debugging purpose. It allows you to perform an intermediate operation on each element. This is very important, without modifying the stream itself. So whenever you use peek, remember whatever changes you do to the stream element, nothing is going to be reflected to the original stream. Your original stream will be as it is. For example, I have the list of fruits, that is apple, banana and cherry. I want to print original value first and then I have to modify it to uppercase. For example, I need as an output as apple, banana and cherry, but I want to print the original value also. So for this debug purpose, as soon as you start your stream, you peek into each and every element which is coming to you in the stream. So for each word, you print that original one was apple and then you map that to uppercase. So these are the intermediate operations. When all of these will be finished, then only the terminal operation will come into picture and it will collect it to the list. So the original becomes apple, then it is mapped to apple. The second comes as banana, so the second comes as original colon banana and it will be mapped to capital bananas. The third comes to as cherry, so original colon cherry will be there. But remember, your original stream of words will not be converted to original colon apple, original comma banana, original comma cherry. That will not happen. Peek is not going to modify your words stream at all. It is just going to peek into it, debug it, give it to you and then leave it as it is. Then in the next operation, as an intermediate operation, you modify it and transform it to uppercase. And then you at the end collect it to the list and this is what the result you get as an output. Just because you're printing here, that is why you are getting the console output as this. Because during debugging, you are printing something. So the peek is applied to the stream. It prints each and every word with the prefix of original. But the output of this method does not modify elements. It just performs the side action of printing here in this case. You can also log it and send it to Kafka or any streaming tool you use. But here we are just printing it to console. So this is where the peek comes very handy, because when you go with your Java 8 coding, it is very difficult to understand what is happening in each and every of this intermediate operation. So you can always peek and log and see what is happening to my original stream and then go ahead and go on with your transformation so that at the end you get your respected output. The seventh one is limit. This limit is again your intermediate operation. Here for example, I am giving a call to database to fetch users who are currently active on my system. Now I have a capacity to handle only 10,000 users at a time. If I fetch more, my system will go into either out of memory exception or will crash. So for the safety purpose, while streaming all those users, I can limit that to give me only 10,000 active users at a time. So this is when the real time you can limit your output on the result. So for example, I need to fetch only first 3 items in the list of arrays. You can limit with 3 and then collect to the list. The 8th one is skip. The skip is again your intermediate operation. So suppose I have a list of numbers and I want to skip first 4 numbers and then collect. So it will be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So this is how you can skip few people. For example, I have list of students. On the basis of their ranking, I have sorted them in the increasing order. So rank 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now I want to call the parents of those people who are below 50 ranked. So I can skip first 50 students and then get the information about the last 50 students. That's how I can use the skip in real time. Usually nobody does that, but okay. Now for each, this is again a terminal operator. So now we are going to start with our terminal operations. So this terminal operator is used to do something with each and every element you have in the stream. For example, I have a list of fruits here, apple, banana and cherry. For each item, I want to print that my item is named as apple. So item colon apple, item colon banana, item colon cherry. So for if you want to do something with each and every element as a terminal operator, you can do this. So usually you can log it, usually you can print it, and you can do anything and everything with your terminal operator for each. The next operator is collect. This is again a terminal operator. So suppose I have a list of some numbers. I want to find the only unique ones, and usually I do not mind even if they are not sorted or they are not in the proper order in which they are in the original collection. So then I can use I can use a stream dot collect to set. Here I will get only unique numbers, but their order will not be the same as what we have in the original stream if we use a set here. If you want that to be preserved, if you remember, we have covered something called as distinct. This is going to make sure that your order remains the same which is there in the original collection. The 11th one is reduce. This is again a terminal operator. Remember, all these intermediate operators will not work until you have one terminal operator in the end of your stream. So these operators will anyways work if you have intermediate or not. Now reduce. Now what does this reduce method do? The reduce method is used to perform reduction on the elements of stream. What does that mean? Too much of theory. If suppose I have the list of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to calculate the product of each of them. So can I not do, how do you calculate the product, right? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. That is 120. Now, not doing it directly, how can I do it in this way in the pair? Like I multiply 1 and 2, get the output and make it as the first element. So that becomes 2. Then do 2 and 3. That makes it 6. And replace them with 6. Then becomes 6 and 4. And 24, and then replace whole of them with 24. Then do 24 and 5. That becomes 120. So basically you are reducing 2 element to 1 and replace the first stream as that. So it applies the binary operator that takes 2 arguments and returns a single result, which becomes the element of the stream repeatedly until all the elements have been processed and a single value is remaining at the end. For example, we start with first 2 element 1 into 2 becomes 2. Then we take 2 as the input and multiply it with 3. And we keep on doing until we have only one element left, that is 5. So at the end, we multiply all of the 24 with 5 and in the end, we get only 120 as a single output result. So what does this reduction do? It takes two items at once, perform the operation and reduce it to one single item. And so on until the whole list contains only one item. So that is reduce for you. This reduce is again a terminal operation and it will convert the complete set of your stream, a collection, into one single object, one single value. Now the next three operations are again terminal operations, that is all match, any match and none match. Now all match is used to check if all the element in the stream satisfy the given predicate. So that is all match. All means every element in the stream. So it returns true if every element matches the predicate and otherwise it will return you false. So for example, I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and I want to check if all the elements are positive, that is greater than 0. So yes, 1 greater than 2 greater than 3, 4, 5 all greater than 0, it will return you true. So always the return of all match returns true or false. Now this is a short circuit operator. Now what a short circuiting operator I have already covered with my Java 8 playlist. So all match operation is a short circuiting operator. That means it will stop as in when you have one element which does not satisfy your predicate. For example, if it finds any element like -2, so it checks 1, is it greater than 0? Yes. -2, is it greater than 0? No. So 3, 4 and 5 will not be checked. It will return you false as it is and stop processing and hence it will increase your performance very good. So that is why it says that always as an terminal operator try to use all match, any match and such kind of operations who are short circuiting operators. It will reduce a lot of operation time and it will increase your performance in a good way. So all match is going to return you true if everybody matches. That is the best case. If even one of the operation fails with the predicate, it will return you false and stop processing any more items going forward. Similarly is the any match. Any match checks if any of the element matches the given predicate. So for example, check if any element is greater than 10. Is 5 greater than 10? No. Is 8 greater than 10? No. It goes ahead. Is any match 12 is greater than 10? Yes. It will not go for 3 and more. It will just stop then and there and return you true then and there. So that is again a short circuit operator. It stops processing as soon as it finds the first element that matches your predicate, thus thereby optimizing your performance. The next is none match. Now none match is again a way to check if no element matches the given predicate. For example, check if none of the elements are negative. Is the 1 negative? No. Is 2 negative? No. 3 negative? No. 4, 5? No. None of them are negative, return true. If any of them would have been negative, for example, my 2 was negative. So 1 negative? No. 2 was negative? Yes, it was -2. Return false because this is failing now. So because one of the element was matching to less than 0, it returns you false. So none match is also a short circuiting operator. It stops as soon as it finds the first element that matches the predicate and immediately returns the false. This is completely opposite to what we have as any match. So these three were the short circuit operators. Now coming back, we have find first and find any. These again are short circuiting operators. Let's see how it works. The find first is used to retrieve the first element that matches the given condition, or simply the first element in the stream if the filtering is not applied. For example, my stream is completely empty. What will happen if my stream doesn't have anything? Then it will return you optional.empty. Remember, this find first and find any, the return type is always optional because there can be a condition that your stream is completely empty, and hence find first and find any is a very good terminal operator which considers that there can be a case that you're passing a collection which is empty, and hence the streaming of that particular collection will not return you anything, and hence to prevent any null pointers in your code, it will return you an optional one. So find first is going to fetch the first element which matches your predicate. For example, I have apple, banana and cherry. I am filtering those words which starts with B. And the first one, as soon as I find it, I will stop there. So I have apple, does it starts with B? No. I have banana, does it starts with B? Yes, yes. And as soon as I know that my terminal is the find first, no more filtering will be done on cherry and any more elements. It will return you banana and then in there stops. And thereby it optimizes the performance. So this is again a short circuiting operator. Just that you will get the optional of banana and then you can check if optional dot is present, then optional dot get. Now you can consider a case that my list of fruits is empty. In that case, in the filter, nothing will work. So the find first will also return nothing. And in this case, you will have optional of empty. There will be nothing into it. In that case, you have the chance of not getting the null pointer because you are checking is optional dot something is empty. If it is not, then only get. Otherwise, go on and do some other task. Similarly, is find any to retrieve any element that matches the given condition. So as soon as you find the first element matching with it, you stop and you then and there stop and return it. So for example, find any element which starts with C. Does apple? No. Does banana starts with C? No. Does cherry starts with? Yes. And rest all elements will be short circuited and cherry will be returned as any element that matches the given condition. So these were again two short circuiting operators we have. Next we have max, min and two array. Now max and min is used to find, these are again terminal operators, okay? These are used to find the maximum minimum elements in the stream based on the comparator or the natural ordering. These methods return an optional because the stream might be empty. Again, the good part with max and min is you again get an optional. Now both the return type of both the functions is optional to handle the stream of being empty. How will you find the maximum? When you do the comparator, when you pass the comparison or comparator to max, it will return you the maximum of the element. And similarly, when you pass the compare to or the comparator to minimum, it will return you the minimum of it. So if I have 5, 1, 8, 3, 9, the max will return you the highest one, that is 9. This is done by comparing 5 and 1, 1 and 8, 8 and 3 and all the permutation combinations, and the minimum and similarly will be written as 1. So the way to find maximum and minimum in the integer of it, that's how you can do it. The 18th one is two array, that is the last one in our terminal operators. Now this two array is going to convert the list or the collection into an array. There are two things in the Java parts, right? A collection and an array. Now if you have a collection and you don't want a collection as an output, you can always have the array as an output by using streams again. So the stream has a very nice terminal method, to array. So when you have the list of apple, banana, cherry, you can stream on it and then convert it to two array with a new string operator. And this is how you get the result of this arrays.asList converted into the array of these fruits. Now coming to our some collector operations. So these collectors operators are like joining. Joining is used to concat the elements of string into single string. It's part of the collector's utility and provides a convenient way to aggregate elements into string format with optional delimiter, prefix and suffix. Too much of theory. Let's first get into the code. So I again have the list of some fruits, like for example apple, banana and cherry. I want to concate them and have a result as apple, banana, cherry. So this is a list of string. I want to concate them. So during the concatenation, whatever we were doing till now was collectors dot to list or collectors dot to set. Now I don't want to do that. I just don't want to collect them, but rather I just want to join them, all of them. So for the joining part, I can use the joining, and you can pass this as a delimiter. So joining with a delimiter is going to convert all your list of elements into a single string and concate them using the comma or the delimiter that you pass. The second version of this joining is when you pass the delimiter, the prefix and the suffix. So here I pass the prefix of the whole list as a square bracket starting and the whole list of square bracket ending. And the result becomes not just the delimiter apple, comma, banana, comma, cherry, but the whole string is prefixed with a start and an end square bracket. So this is how you can pass your prefix and suffix as a character sequence to complete string that you get out of your list of strings. So that is the joining for you. The 20th one is the grouping by. The grouping by is going to group all your elements in the list in the key value pair as a map. So whenever you want to group your data into a map of key value pair, you can use the grouping by. It is basically used for aggregating and categorizing data into a map where key becomes the classifier and the value becomes the list. Too much of theory. Let's directly jump to the code. So I have the people. So this is a custom class. Okay, I have a person class. The person class has a name and the city where it lives. I want to categorize each and every person in the city they live. So I know that John and Jack live in the New York City and Jane alone lives in the London City. So how I want to concate them is with the key value pair, where key becomes the city, the value becomes the whole person object, not just the name. Remember, this is not just the name. It is a whole person object. So how can we do that? So you open the stream on the list of your people, then collect them. Before collecting them, group them by their city. And since you are grouping them by the city, all the value become your whole person object. That is the type of the collection you are working upon. So your key becomes your string, that is your city, but the value becomes the whole list of person, not just the name of the person. You can see here this is Jack and John, but these are not just the name, these are whole person object. So your key becomes New York, but your value becomes the list of two persons, John and Jake. Here London comes as a key and the value becomes the Jane as a complete object. So that is how you can group by. You're working on a list as a collection, and you can group them together, all of those list values into key value pairs like this. A real-time example can be you have multiple orders coming into your website. You want to group them to which city they are ordering to and you have to deliver to. So you can always group your orders by the city, and then you can deliver all the orders to one city at once. You can dispatch them at once. I have many more things to cover: grouping by, partition, counting, summarizing, and many more. So if you want to have the second part of the same, just let me know in the comment section. I'll create another part of this as time is already very high. Thank you so much for this, staying till end of this video. Please do like, share and subscribe to support us, and do let us know in the comment section if you want another video where we are going to combine all such operations together for you so that you can implement them whenever you are solving some coding interview questions for Java 8. Thank you.